You are now entering a dangerous liberty zone where God-given natural rights are held sacred and exercised. This is your warning. Tyranny, fascism, and censorship will not be tolerated. Ideas will be exchanged freely. Rigorous debate and open discourse is encouraged. If you are weak and your beliefs are fragile, you should leave now. Prepare yourself. We are now live on the Dangerous Liberty Podcast.
All right, folks. Happy Wednesday, everybody. We're about to subject ourselves to some, phenomenal, slanderous, defamatory, dumpster fire nonsense here in just a few minutes. We're going to go through that. So we got a lot to cover as well. I want to say hi to everybody over in the chat. I want to say hi to Ben over there. Ben Jammin. I know your real name, Ben. Disney Up, Boiler Up, Con, Jason Sponsler, Ruger Rouge, and many, many more. Make sure you guys say hi as you come in. Make sure you like, subscribe. If you want to support the channel, there's a link down in the description. And also make sure you join us tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We are going to have Timothy on. I keep forgetting his last name. Kills me. Anyways, it's in the it's on the page there on the channel. So anyways, I got a lot going through my head right now. I'm trying to keep everything straight because we do have a lot going on, and there's a whole lot going on with Candace amongst and besides just the fact that we have this idiotic series that she's going to be releasing. And I hope to God that people are out there are using their discernment, and we're going to go through it and watch it together. It's the only way that I could even get through this. I have been dreading this all day long, to be honest with you. I do want to share something with you and a couple of things that you need to be aware of. Number one, there's this thing going around on X, and I think this is hilarious. So you have the Patriot Blonde here. A leaked TPUSA email lays out a smear campaign against real Candace Owens, ordering staffers to call her evil and demonic. Shocker, Dan Bongino just regurgitated it word for word. Well, first of all, I know what Dan Bongino said, and he did not regurgitate this word for word. And I want you to look at this. So first and foremost, this doesn't even look like a real email to me. There's nothing that indicates that it's real. And even if it is, and let's just go through this real quick. Subject, urgent shutdown, Candace latest smear. Action needed tonight. This isn't journalism, it's pure evil, demonic slander. Talking points use these verbatim or close variations. Candace Owens is pure evil. Candace is a demon. This is demonic. She's not asking questions. She's conducting a witch hunt. And it goes on and on and on. So first and foremost, we don't even know this is real. And if it is real, who cares? Who cares if this is real? Who cares if there is coordination going on with pushback against her? I hope there is, as a matter of fact, because Candace has been doing a coordinated attack using an entire network of influencers from the very beginning. That has been the why she has become so prolific with all of this nonsense. As I respond to this, I haven't seen proof that this email is real, but if it is, I fail to see the problem. No lies detected. There should be a coordinated truth campaign against Candace Owens. From the beginning, Candace is coordinated with Baron Coleman, Ian Carroll, Ryan Mata, Village Crazy Lady Mel, and dozens more to spread her destructive lies and attack TPUSA and Erika Kirk. Her organized and coordination with a network of downstreamers is why her disinformation is so prolific. Candace is evil. She's demonic. She is attempting to unjustly destroy Erika Kirk, TPUSA, Charlie's legacy, and ensure Democrats win the midterms. She and her surrogates are simps, and simp allies are enemies of truth. A coordinated attack on truth, and all that is good requires a coordinated response to meet it with equal or greater force. They are simply pissed and afraid that people are seeing her and them for the evil that they are. And now doing what the DEI queen has done from the beginning, mounting a coordinated effort against her. It's projection, nothing more. I hope every sane, reasonable, God-fearing person out there coordinates against this evil, lunacy-driven network of grifters intentionally deceiving Americans for monetary gain and political motives. Candace has nothing but lies, and those lies should be met with an equal, coordinated, and opposite force. So that's where we are with this. And I am glad to see that there is people that are taking this seriously and are coordinating, collaborating, whatever you want to call it. They do need to get together, because from the beginning, the reason that her lies have spread is because she has been coordinating with a multitude of people. And then every single one of those little weird downstreamers and surrogates, they have an entire network of additional downstreamers and surrogates. So that's what needs to happen. And if we're gonna meet this head on, and I'm glad to see that if there's coordination. Again, we don't even know that that's true. I want to share this with you as well. This was just released earlier, and I just retweeted it. Let me see. Let me find the response here. Dr. Simon Goddick, these are the people who are paid to call Candace Owens evil or a demon. Whatever you think of her, smearing someone for money is morally bankrupt. And he releases this spreadsheet. Where did this come from? How do we know that this is true? So again, this is what we're constantly dealing with from her side. A bunch of allegations with no evidence behind it. And again, I don't care if it is true. And I don't think that these people probably took money at all, because I know these people have been speaking out against her for a really long time. So if now somebody's paying them to do it, fine. They were doing it for free. I don't really care. But again, there's absolutely zero proof, zero evidence that they are being paid. I'm sure not being paid. And they've said that from the beginning, or at least until after the Mitch Snow thing, where Candace has said multiple times on her show that I was paid by TPUSA, that I was directed by TPUSA, that Erika Kirk hired me personally to do PR work for her. None of that is true. I do not get a dime from any outside, nothing of value, nothing. No one's ever told me to say anything or anything else. So, from the inside looking out, I know that this is a lie. And I know that this is more just misinformation that they're putting out to try to undermine the credibility of people that are speaking out, because they're following their own conscience. That's what most of this is going. And of course, even if no one ever coordinated with any of this stuff, like, the responses are going to be extremely similar. Just like when you have Baron Coleman, Ian Carroll, Ryan Matta, Mel, all these people retweeting, defending her, attacking her opposition, it all looks the same, even if they weren't coordinated, if they never talked to Candace. But I know that they do, because number one, Candace has talked to these people. She's had them on her show. So there has been extreme coordination from the beginning, and now they're scared. Now they're scared that people on this side of it, the truth seekers, are actually getting organized and coordinating against her. And that's what should be done. I think most of us would agree with that. And we will definitely pull off. One thing I found odd, I want to show this to you real quick. I was trying to, before I went live, I did this 3 different times, and YouTube rejected your comment. This usually means they think it's spam. Try changing it a bit. I did try changing it a bit, and ultimately I think it did go through, but I had to change it dramatically. What's up, all you truth-loving, God-fearing, and patriotic Americans? Apparently that's spam, according to YouTube. They never cease to amaze, that's for sure. Let's check in over here and see if Candace has gone live yet. Here she goes. All right, we're going to play. Oh, and by the way, folks, I do have Lisa Knows. She's going to be coming on shortly as well. So it'll make it much more fun to have her on and co-host with me a little bit. So let's jump in here, see what we got from Candace Owens. Apparently we're behind just a little bit. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I'll put this up on the screen now. And
pulled in over nations. You guys, there is okay, you guys, there is a very strange thing happening right now where a young woman with absolutely zero professional qualifications has been inserted at the top of a charity organization that pulled in over $250 million last year. And the media is telling you that you have no right to know or to ask anything about her. The argument being made is that her husband was murdered. Therefore, she has a right to assume the position. And despite the fact that Turning Point USA is a literal charity, and therefore it's not even have to pay tax on that $250 million plus or pay tax on the alleged future billions that it's due to rake in thanks to a deal with a man named Pierre, these talking heads are claiming that the public simply wanting to ensure the person who is running that organization is, I don't know, at a bare minimum, moderately honest about who she says she is.
Okay, that's not the argument at all. Her argument from the beginning of this, or at least where this started with Erika, is that she killed Charlie Kirk. It's not a matter of how qualified she is. It's not a matter of if she's honest or not or anything else. Like, she's already moving the goalpost. And again, she can't help but be dishonest. That's what she does.
No, that inquiry makes you a monster. So I guess your job is to head to work 9 to 5, receive a flurry of unsolicited emails and text messages reminding you that Charlie Kirk, the innocent man that you watched be executed in broad daylight live, you're to be reminded that that was her Charlie. My Charlie needs your help. Here's how you can give us your 401k and house. The emails have been landing into your inbox at an alarming rate, saying things like that. There's virtually nothing that the feds are telling us about his murder that makes
Everything she said is just full of gaslighting nonsense. Hey, you know what? They're asking, TPUSA is asking you to send enough money into where you're going to go bankrupt. Nothing even close to that. It's so hard to watch her. So God bless you all for doing this with me. You're helping me, not the other way around, just so we're clear.
any objective sense. But if you're feeling weird about any of that, you're reminded constantly that she is a grieving widow. She's a grieving widow. That sentence, in my opinion, is this year's Trust the Science. She's a grieving widow. The mainstream media, of course, Zionists implied, are effectively telling you to roll up your sleeve.
So telling you the truth, that she is a grieving widow, that there is zero evidence of her being involved in her husband's murder, is equivalent to the left trying to tell you to trust the science, put on the mask, stay home, take this vaccine that we haven't tested. That's the equivalent. You talk about a false equivalent. My God, man.
And get the vaccine again, dopes. Tyler Robinson did it. Erika Kirk is grieving. Please allow her to do so in the privacy of the billion-dollar charity that she took over. Remember when they did the 6 feet social distancing thing? They cast that spell. Let your granddad die alone in the hospital. If you desire to see your grandma this Thanksgiving, it's because you're a demon from the gates of hell. Yeah. Resist your human instincts. Obey the government. It's the same kind of messaging, the same kind of emotional manipulation, but it's a new year. Still have questions or concerns about who Erika Kirk is and why she seems to have lied many times on record? Well, you're Satan, and I'm sorry that you are. And also, I would like to remind you that you are destroying Charlie's legacy. Now, it is very important that I remind you, we haven't even said anything yet. A 2-minute trailer resulted in one of the most aggressive preemptive PR strikes that I have ever seen. They posted photos of my manager's infant daughter, my makeup artist, my family members.
I just want you guys
plus a
to know
voicemail.
what she's saying here. Let's go over to this, because I replied to old Baron Coleman and his nonsense. You talk about coordination. Let's take a look at some coordination that's happening here. Let me find this, where old Baron Coleman just happened to mirror the exact same sentence that she just said. Let's see here. Come on, X. Quit being a pain in the ass. It's not my reply as though it should be. Let me see. There we go. Let me share this tab instead. So let's take a look at Baron Coleman's original text here, or his post. If Erika Kirk is just an innocent, grieving widow, there was no need to launch a preemptive strike against real Candace Owens before her series that begins today. The attack on Candace means Erika's supporters are confident Erika can be seriously damaged if her life is examined. And of course, my response to that, which is gaslighting logic. If real Candace Owens is telling the truth, there is no reason to worry about a quote-unquote preemptive strike. Notice the rhetoric. It's what propagandists do. The attack on, if real Candace Owens is telling the truth. There's no reason to worry about that. The attack on Erika supporters means Candace and her simps are confident that Candace can be seriously damaged if her defamatory trash series is examined. See how that logic works? So you talk about coordination and making sure that the rhetoric is the same. We see the exact same rhetoric coming from her surrogates that she's going to use in this series. But, you know, it is what it is.
For my producer. Okay. Well, this was initially supposed to be just 3 episodes. But now I'm thinking about a season 2 and a season 3. Because if you haven't quite figured me out yet or thought through how we got here, I don't like it when innocent people are targeted and attacked and on rare occasions shot in the neck in broad daylight. No one blinked when entire investigative series and books were written about Hillary Clinton, Michelle Obama, Meghan Markle, because they're public figures. I've effectively endured 10 years in politics with nonstop exposés and investigations into my background, but we're told Erika is somehow untouchable. Let me tell you something. The truth does not require a multi-million-dollar PR campaign. It also does not fear inspection. So welcome to Bride of Charlie.
We have nothing to hide.
Where should we begin in this story? I think maybe with just a blanket statement. Something is not right with Erika Kirk. And despite a most aggressive influence campaign, which at one point even included a signed letter from the Secretary of Treasury assuring us that Turning Point is above board, amazing organization, and despite, in addition to that, a flurry of homosexual men making over dramatic videos about sheer evil, no, not mass murdering children, sheer evil, investigating someone at the helm of a billion-dollar company. Despite all that, the public remains unconvinced that she is simply a grieving widow, because she isn't simply a grieving widow. She's also the CEO and chairman of an organization. In fact, during our preparation for this series, an investigative journalist named Elizabeth Lane went viral on X because what she authored about Erika was brilliant. It just was objectively brilliant. It gave voice to what millions of people worldwide were feeling, but didn't exactly know how to express. And I'm going to read you her words in their entirety because I think it's very important, okay? Elizabeth Lane wrote, "I'm going to be blunt. I have reached the point where I find Erika Kirk to be deeply disturbing, not because of rumors or gossip, but because of consistent, observable patterns of behavior. To be clear, everything I say in this post is my opinion. I am not claiming this is a fact. I am saying this is what I think Erika Kirk is. I come from the world of acting and modeling. I have spent years around social climbers, opportunists, image curators, and people who treat relationships like ladders. That is why I left that world. Most of these people are shallow and harmless. A few are dangerous. Erika falls into the latter category, not because she is just ambitious, but because of how calculated and performative her ambition appears to be. I believe she may be a psychopath. What stands out immediately is the reaction that she provokes in other people, which is very common with psychopaths.
Excuse me. Like, who is this lady calling her a psychopath and not giving Candace Owens a pass on this? I was literally wrote down some things earlier talking about the fact that Candace Owens, she is, if you're going to call anyone a psychopath, my God, man, the way that she's attacked this poor woman, the way that she's treated Charlie's death as a nothing but a money bank and continue to attack her enemies. I don't care if it's the French. I don't care if it's TPUSA. I don't care if it's Erika that she's clearly scorned by. That is psychopathic behavior. What in God's name can you point to at Erika Kirk, anything that we've seen that you can say she's a psychopath? You could say, if you want to, I think it's not true, but you could say, you know what, she doesn't do well in front of a camera. She's going through a grieving time. You can even say she cries too much. She doesn't cry enough. I've heard all of these things, but none of that leads to anything that could be related to psychopathy. So just like it just doesn't make sense. They will use any word. It doesn't matter if it's true or not, or it passes the smell test of common sense, but they will use it to defame and to attempt to destroy Erika Kirk, who's done nothing wrong in all of this. She has done nothing wrong. The real psychopath is the one reading this tweet right here.
psychopaths. Across the board, including people who support her publicly, the private reaction is the same. It's, I can't watch her. It's not a criticism, it's just a physical discomfort. People turn off interviews because the presentation feels artificial to the point of being unbearable. Let me explain. That kind of response does not happen accidentally and does not happen often. Research in psychology shows that humans are highly sensitive to emotional incongruence, mismatches between a facial expression, tone, and content. When the effect appears simulated rather than genuine, the brain registers it as a threat. This activates discomfort and avoidance, even if the person cannot consciously explain why. So many of us felt this way, but we could not explain why we could not watch her. Studies on psychopathy, particularly those building on the work of psychologists like Robert Hare, describe traits such as a rehearsed emotional display and shallow affect. These traits can create what observers experience as an uncanny interpersonal dynamic. The discomfort arises and people want to shut it off because most people rarely encounter.
Yeah, she's using a random tweet to essentially diagnose Erika Kirk as a psychopath.
Extreme affective mimicry in everyday life. So the brain struggles to categorize what it is detecting. Erika is attractive enough, and she had every tool in her possession to sell this organically, except for one thing: emotion. The entire story of what happened could have helped her sell this fully. She really would have been the last person on earth to be a suspect, if not for the FBI's terrible mistakes, Turning Point USA's lies, and her very fake performance. Plenty of attractive, ambitious women move through media spaces without triggering that response, even though.
I would like to hear Candace say what mistake that she can point out to that the FBI and really Utah authorities made in all this. I would love to hear that. I mean, she's most likely going to say they fabricated these text messages, even though that Candace Owens doesn't know the difference between text messages and online messages. But it's the FBI, it's the Utah authorities that made a mistake, not these people.
Oh, we know what they are. This is about something else, an extreme disconnect between presentation that she puts out and the perceived authenticity. Erika is not the archetype of a model actress seeking money in.
Yeah, folks, even at the beginning of this, I was trying to type multiple times and it wouldn't allow me to. It kept saying that was spam. So God only knows what's happening with YouTube. God only knows how many of Candace's cult members are mass reporting this stream right now. I have no idea what's going on. Keep trying. Stay with it. Don't leave. Fight the good fight. That's all I can tell you.
Fame and then settling into a quiet life with a wealthy, good-looking husband. She is the wolf type who wants to be in the place of that husband. She is not born for a supporting role. She's a decision maker. She appears to pursue proximity to power, moving fluidly between television, nonprofits, branding opportunities, and ideological spaces that maximize her exposure. Her previous partners are guys that women like her would date: muscular, jacked, good-looking. Even though they are not people with huge potential, they are all somewhat established. They are good stepping stones until the right person shows up. Now, looking at her previous partners, I would say that Charlie probably was not her type visually, but he was exactly what she was looking for in a man: potential to be a great power. What Erika was looking for is the same thing Hillary Clinton was looking for when she met Bill. She recognized that Bill Clinton was her ticket to power, the power that she could control, and she was right. She realized that she could create a great brand out of him and herself, and they still are a brand, the Clintons. No one in this world can say that those two love each other. They are a brand that works. That's why she's sticking around despite Epstein and Lewinsky. Also, if you think Bill is the decision maker there, you must have never been in close proximity to the Clintons. She moves the game. She is the decision maker. Erika saw a brand with Charlie. She also saw that Charlie could one day become president of the United States if he wanted to. Charlie had the ear of the most powerful segment of any society: students. He was going to be a very important player in politics, and she was not missing that ride. What is striking is how completely her public identity reshapes itself after that relationship begins. The aesthetic, the tone, the values, the presentation all change. Overnight, the persona shifts.
Yeah, so folks, same things happened to me. I just attempted to type all feelings, tweets, and no facts, and it did not go through on YouTube. It said YouTube rejected your comment. This usually means they think it's spam. Try changing it a bit. So here we are, YouTube, and the psyop continues with all the social media pushing, making sure that her message is heard. Like there's something going on. I think all of us realize that. It's hard to prove, maybe even impossible to prove, but it is very clear because I bet you if we looked at her comments, they're not having any issues whatsoever.
Into the role that best suits Charlie's world. Devoted Christian, modest, a supportive housewife. That kind of rapid adaptation is quite impressive for a usual person, but not for a psychopath because they do it all the time. In my head, the story goes like this. For a moment, it works. She becomes the wife of a rising political figure with access to donors, institutions, and national platforms. At that point, the ceiling isn't social media influence, it's empire building, foundations, global reach, a legacy, a brand, the Kirks. It's obvious that Charlie listens to her, whether it's about donors or the trajectory of Turning Point USA. The most influential figure in any mentally healthy man's life is going to be his wife. She's going to be the biggest influence, and that is just how it is. That is why you need to pick your partner wisely. And everything was going well until Charlie began making decisions based on conscience rather than expansion and money. He turns down money. He refuses to play dirty politics. I am assuming someone like Erika, who married into this because she had a vision for this brand, would not be very happy about that.
I imagine this is all someone's imagination, some rando, and I know who she is, basically a rando on X that is giving her long-winded opinion backed by zero evidence, that she doesn't even know Erika Kirk, and yet we're spending 15 minutes reading the longest tweet ever put out on Twitter as some sort of evidence or corroboration that Erika Kirk ultimately killed Charlie Kirk. This is stupid.
The life she appears to have signed up for, power couple, expanding influence, historical relevance, was collapsing into something else entirely. Domesticity, housewife, kids, and now Charlie refusing to accept the money that can make him a global power. A supporting role instead of center stage is not her thing. Her husband died a few days ago, and she walks onto the stage as if she was born there. It comes naturally to her. She knows it and she wants it. Just days after her husband's death, she was already laying out ambitious plans for the company over Zoom. It's obvious she was always deeply involved in the business and knew exactly where to pick up when her turn came.
She was always involved in the business. I mean, that's a known. There's nothing revealing here. LMR 67 says, does anyone else notice that all the emails she reads sound like they were written by the exact same person? Now, I do know that this is a real person. Again, I don't know how much of this is coordinated. I do know for a fact that there is a lot of coordination going on with Candace Owens and her many other surrogates. We know that. We just showed evidence of that, where Candace Owens at the beginning of this, the opening of this, used the exact same verbiage that Baron Coleman used. This preemptive attack. It's not a preemptive attack. It's everybody sitting back watching this and being disgusted and expressing that disgust. It's just what normal human beings would do given the circumstances of what's going on, how little evidence that she presents, zero evidence of any material claims. And it's just a normal human reaction. But because there's a normal human reaction, now that is coordinated efforts while we have these people over here pushing these fantasies and conspiracies, trying to destroy Charlie's legacy and trying to destroy Erika Kirk. But we're the ones coordinating. Get the fuck out of here.
People struggle to watch. What makes the screen unbearable is not grief. It's the absence of emotional continuity. Performances can be learned. Trust me, as a former actress, I can speak to that. But emotion cannot be improvised or mimicked if you've never experienced it. That's why I think we are dealing with a psychopath who has never really experienced these emotions and does not know how to play them. And audiences feel it instantly. It's fake. Again, this is just my opinion. It's a good place to start. It is a good place to start because there are a lot of things that Elizabeth said there that I think I am going to be able to prove.
All of which are opinion. And let's see all of those things. We're going to keep track of the actual proof, not subjective nonsense that you can interpret 50 different ways. But I'm getting a pen and paper out, and we're going to keep track of the actual evidence and the proof of her claims. So let's continue listening to the DEI queen.
Adapting her personality to suit the people that she meets, the lies that she tells. I've done a lot of work here speaking to ex-boyfriends, speaking to old classmates. I really wanted to get a sense of who Erika was. And also, in a word, yes, I concur. There is something about her. I don't know any single personality in the media or politics that has had the same effect that Erika has had on people worldwide. She's a rare bird, okay? She has actually managed to unify the left and the right on a single perspective. Think about that, how amazing that is. Say what you will about Hillary Clinton, but she had a true following on the left, right? It was a bloody match. back in 2016. Now, beyond Erika, what Elizabeth is diving into here is psychology, right? She's guessing and she's speaking about psychology, a social science that was created, to be very clear, by German mystical Jews, right? They believed in mystical Judaism. They were practicing the occult. Now, if you are a regular viewer of this show, you know that I have sort of obsessed myself with this history over the past 2 years, the books that we read in book club, all about the very dark history of modern psychology and its direct relationship to child abuse, trauma-based mind control. That's what the book, The Assault on Truth, lays out. This person wasn't just an author that was guessing when he wrote this book. He was in control of the Sigmund Freud archives and lost his entire career just trying to ring the alarm on what these scientists knew. He explains that they abuse children with the goal of transforming them into future psychopaths that can be controlled. That is the science that was brought here to America via Operation Paperclip. What began as Project Monarch in Germany ultimately became MK Ultra in America. The Manson murders, the 60s, all of that was our government, CIA gone wild after the assassination of JFK. For drugging and experimenting upon citizens with the explicit goal of controlling minds, social engineering, making people get into a formation. These are indisputable and historical facts. This brought forth the dawn of serial killers in America, too many of them with curious ties to the military. Yeah, MK Ultra was a military grade program. Truthfully, behind every unthinkable crime is a deranged psychologist and a prescription cabinet. If you think that MK Ultra ever stopped, I hope that the Epstein files and the stunning defense of the Epstein files from our quote unquote elites helped to shatter that illusion for you. We discussed MK Ultra during the Kamala Chronicles. Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, is suing me for merely mentioning MK Ultra on Tim Dillon's show. How bizarre. Why is the president of France, who himself is a victim of minor sex abuse, so concerned about that conversation being opened up? Independent study into Sigmund Freud and what he and his colleagues were doing in Vienna is crucial for you to understand what is going on in this world and the way that the world works, okay? Now, pivoting back to Erika and her story, I will tell you my personal opinion and my experience with her. What alarms me about Erika isn't so much the fact that she lies, which we will prove to you over and over again, but it's also the fact that I don't know that she's aware that she's lying. It's almost as though she doesn't remember. Like the version that she's telling us today or yesterday was just recently downloaded into her mind, and she therefore thinks it's true, like a faulty memory or something. I'm saying that I'm not sure if she's fully aware that she's lying, because it's like some of the lies are so stupid. She's just sort of going. I want you to
exactly
also, by
right.
the way, of course.
So her series is just her podcast. Yeah, there's nothing different here. She shared a tweet. There's not a single thing different. Like I was expecting like an actual documentary, right? Like we're gonna have a bunch of eyewitnesses, people giving their testimony, some hard-hitting journalism. No. We're just gonna pre-tape. We're just gonna take a few days off, and during those days off, we're gonna pre-tape our podcast, and then we're gonna play it on Wednesday and a couple other days, and we're gonna call it a series. We're going to take the normal pre-taped podcast and then let them know it's pre-taped and then play it as a series. That's exactly right.
We reached out ahead of this episode. We reached out to her specifically with just 4 questions pertaining to past statements that she's made that do not appear to align with the reality of what we have discovered. Okay. For example, just one example, we are told that Erika Franzwey was raised by a strong, independent, entrepreneurial, single mother who taught her how to be a good Christian, a devout Catholic mother. Lori Franzwey, right? As an aside, that this Catholic mom, who am I to judge Catholics, but she's been married 4 times that I can see.
Oh
We'll
my
talk
God.
about that more down the line. More importantly, though, you will recall that Erika sat down for an in-person interview with the New York Times days after Charlie was publicly assassinated, and she confirmed to them that the least traumatizing part about Charlie's assassination was the prospect of her now having to raise her children alone. She wasn't traumatized by that idea because she
Not
had
what she
seen
said
the
at all.
example set for her by her mother growing up.
First of all, do you see how she twists the words? What is the least traumatizing? And she replied. And now then she twisted around and says she wasn't traumatized by that at all. That's not what she said. She said that's the least traumatizing. But like what she's saying, here's my interpretation of what Erika said is, you know what? I'm going to make sure that my kids have a good life. I'm going to make sure that they have a great childhood. Of course, they don't have their father. And again, it's something that she's thrown on the spot. She may have said that differently or given a different response had she had time to think about those things. But that is not, again, we have Candace being completely disingenuous, lying, being dishonest, and twisting things like she does every single time. She goes from presenting the question as it was presented, what's the least traumatizing, to, what she's saying that it's not traumatizing at all. It's not what she said at all. It's such bullshit. And like, I'm so tired of these low IQ people that follow her. They are the real problem. They are the real problem, because if you accept this nonsense, you are evil, you are dumb, and until you find God, there is no redeeming you. We appreciate Melinda Ann for gifting 5 Paramount Tactical memberships. Thank you very much for that. Let's continue to hear this drivel.
As People magazine later echoed, quote, Erika Kirk has learned a lot from her mother, Lori Franzwey. After welcoming her daughter in November of 1988, Franzwey divorced Erika's father, Kent Franzwey, and raised her as a single mother in Scottsdale, Arizona. Lori spent nearly 2 decades working for General Electric before founding multiple companies in the network security industry, according to her LinkedIn. So you can see they're seeding the public with the idea that you can raise kids and be a single mom and also be a CEO and boss babe it. Okay. The only problem is that it's just not true. Erika was not raised by a single mother, like at all. Erika's father, Kent Franzwey, by the way, he's Kenneth Franzwey, but he goes by Kent, was always in her life. So much so that for entire years of her childhood, Kent was actually a stay-at-home dad. So almost the exact opposite thing was true at one point. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. You can actually take Erika's. Take a listen.
Hold on. I do not want to knock the stay-at-home dads. I do not. There are some who had to temporarily have to switch that role. That happened to my parents a long time ago. Granted, again, they got a divorce, so that probably falls into your bucket. But
I am an anthropologist.
But my dad was a stay-at-home dad for a few years. And I got to say, it was really sweet and really special. I was 4, but that was...
Of course, it's not an indictment of the morality.
No, but if you're
about,
saying from the get-go,
I
I want to be a stay-at-home
it is a imbalance.
dad.
It's an imbalance of nature.
So stay-at-home dad for a couple of years.
You know what? Here's something I posted today by Nathan Livingstone that you guys need to check out. You need to check out the entire video. I'm going to play just a part of this. Since we're doing a big expose of Erika, I think it's only fair to do an expose of the truth behind Candace. And this is just a quick 3-minute video. I'm going to share this tab, and you guys are going to listen to this because this is a real indictment of her character. This right here, Candace has continually called people pedo protectors. Let's see the truth about protecting pedos and who's really guilty of that.
A young man named Tyler Hensel.
We're going to back this up a little bit.
He has a chain of victims going back several years to when she was a minor.
Now, really what all of this boils down to is her attempting to say that this one girl, that she, in fact, is the predator and that these 5 grown men are the victims.
She has a chain of victims going back several years to when she was a minor.
Now, Candace Owens portrays these grown men as young men.
This young man, Dustin Milner, a young man named Tyler Hensel.
These are not young men in the early 20s, okay? These are men who were aged 34 up to nearly 60. Now, all 5 of these grown men were with this girl, ranging from when she was 15 to 17.
Even going back then, folks, she was constantly moving the truth around, right? Manipulating the truth. She's calling these people young men. She's calling this 15-year-old girl a predator, and that, showing that, or trying to portray these men that are 30, the youngest is 34 to 57. 34 years old is a young man as she projects it. And these guys are the victim, not the minor. Like, it's disgusting.
17 years old. And the age of consent in Florida, if you're over 24, is 18. But they're all the victims, according to Candace Owens, not the teenage girl.
You have a woman who is doing this to men.
It's also important to point out that ignorance is not a defense in Florida. It's absolutely up to these grown men for them to confirm and know the age of the woman that they're having sex with. So Candace Owens' defense, it's not even a legal defense.
On multiple occasions, she has accused innocent men of horrific crimes, resulting in their unjust incarceration.
Now, the problem for Candace Owens is that one of these men was actually convicted of molesting this girl when she was a minor.
58-year-old Keith Fox posed for a mugshot Tuesday. Police say he had sex with a 15-year-old girl.
Essentially, it was believed that she was having sexual relations with him, and the courts found that to be true. And he is now been sentenced to 24 years in prison.
And he was not only convicted of molesting her, but convicted of molesting another minor as well.
There were 2 girls that were involved in that case, just to be clear, and one of the girls admitted flat out to having an outright sexual relationship with him, including sexual intercourse.
Now, what does Candace Owens do? Because she realized that this is a big problem in the narrative that she's attempting to push. She beeps the name of the convicted child molester.
The only reason I'm not going to name him is because at the time of the allegations against him,
minor's name.
Folks, wrap your head around that for just a moment. Okay, she's talking about this girl that was victimized by these grown-ass men, ages 34 to 57, and she is going to broadcast the minor's name, the victim, all over the place throughout this. She does it like over 100 times. She bleeps out, edits, and protects the actual pedophile. And this is the same woman that's accusing other people of protecting pedophiles, when she is like, it's just a factual statement. It's a factual statement that Candace Owens is a pedophile protector. We have it right here in front of your face. Everything else is hearsay, nonsense, gossip, huge leaps, facts. That's the difference.
Was in fact a minor, and that of course is relevant. So we just want to be ethical here. Throughout this episode, by the way, you're going to hear some beeps when I'm discussing this case. If I accidentally say his name, we intend to just beep it out.
Yes, she beeps the name of the convicted child molester, yet she names the molested child over and over again. Like I said, the entire episode was dedicated to attacking and discrediting this girl who was a minor when she was involved with this convicted child molester and with these other grown men, because she doesn't want you to look into the case to realize that there's no basis for this narrative that she's attempting to push.
And not expose his name so that people can look up the case, because, as I said, she was underage at the time.
His name is Keith Fox, okay? That's who she's beeping the name of, and you can look it up. It is publicly available.
The arrest report shows that the teen's mother hired a private investigator to follow her daughter and Fox. Last June, while Fox's wife was away on business, the investigator saw the teen at the front window of Fox's home, quote, in the nude, touching one another in a sexual manner. And the teen described her relationship with Fox to detectives as more of a father-daughter one. She also told detectives that he was a mentor to her.
It started off with just a very close relationship between a teen student and her yoga instructor. He made a few inappropriate comments.
Police say those escalated to several serious allegations against Fox.
Performed deviant sexual acts in the bedroom, such as urinating on her during intercourse. Is serving a prison sentence. His life has pretty much been destroyed here.
Candace Owens wants you to feel...
Yeah, his life's been destroyed. So we have a yoga instructor that is preying on young teens in his class. You talk about grooming. Like, we have a real groomer. And then we have Candace Owens trying to deflect from that, trying to paint this guy as innocent and a victim of a minor. How insane Does it get any more insane than that? Like, once you see this, how can you judge the perception or of anything this woman actually says?
Sorry for the convicted child molester who has 2 victims aged 12 to 15. That's who Candace Owens is.
Couldn't have said it any better. Let's see.
He has a change.
Let me get us back to this right here. Sorry, folks. It's moving screens around. It's always a pain. Speaking of which, while we're here, we just got in Lisa Knows. Lisa, welcome. I'm sure you've been paying attention. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I was listening to you as I was driving home so that I knew what was going on. It's just the same garbage that it always is. I did want to say that I thought it was interesting that she's going into this whole thing with psychology. She's using a lot of Scientology talking points, folks, which I think is very interesting because if you know anything about Scientology, they hardcore go against psychology, therapy, any type of medications for mental illness. They're very anti any of that, which I'm not going to say that I'm like all for all of it necessarily. But they don't think that, like, if you're a part of Scientology, you're not allowed to seek any form of therapy. You cannot use any form of medication. Even people have committed suicide in the Scientology organization because they had serious mental illness problems and they were not allowed to seek any help at all. And so unfortunately they killed themselves. And Scientology actually covered up their deaths, unfortunately, or tried to, right? And inside whistleblowers actually like blew the whistle on that whole thing inside of Scientology, that they're not allowed to seek any type of treatment or help for serious mental issues. And so when she went on that whole trope about psychology, is being used to abuse children and all of that. Now, does psychology have a perfect track record? No, it does not. It does have a dark history, as we know, with like shock therapy and, some horrific things that happened in some of these like mental institutions and stuff. So there is some dark history there. I'm not going to say that it's perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but a lot of the talking points that she's using are very similar to what Scientology uses when they talk about therapy and psychology and mental illness and things like that. So anyway, I thought that was interesting.
Nope. Couldn't agree more. All right, let's see if I'm
They
back.
ultimately amount to a big lie. This is exactly what I have found to be immediate.
Let me pull this back just a little bit here.
Do not appear to align with the reality of what we have discovered. Okay. For example, here's just one example. We are told that Erika Kirk was raised by a so that for entire years of her childhood, Kent was actually a stay-at-home dad. So almost the exact opposite thing was true at one point. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. You can actually take Erika's. Take a listen.
Hold on. I do not want to knock the state.
Indictment of the morality.
Friends, and people are generally bewildered as to why Erika is now publicly representing as though she does not have a relationship with Kent, the man that she claims is her father, at least. Or also something she fails to mention is that even if you removed Kent, Erika was raised with her stepfather in her home, a man named Larry Ginta. In her high school yearbook, actually, Kent is included, her father, biological father, in a collage, and so are his parents, her grandparents, Carl and Elaine. So we can reasonably assume that her father was in her life. We can also assume from that photo that Erika was exceedingly close to her stepfather too. You can bring that back up and I'll show that. But he's featured there too. You've got Larry in the photo because he has been a fixture in her life since before her parents' divorce was ever finalized, because both he and his son are also in the collage. I confirmed with classmates Larry and Lori were together since Erika's elementary school days. In other words, Erika grew up in a situation that is now termed as a bonus dad. Both her biological father and her stepfather figure were present and all living in and around the Scottsdale area. So why this little public misrepresentation? I would be super offended if I was a stay-at-home dad and then suddenly, you've got someone saying, I was all alone. My mom did it all by herself. Now, you will see throughout this investigation that there are a lot of little wrinkles like this in Erika's story. The question is, what broader purpose do they serve? Because I thought about that, and I remember reading in Xavier Poussard's book, Becoming Brigitte, that it is actually an intentional strategy of deception, a strategy used by the media in creating and curating a legend about, in this case, he was talking about Brigitte, how the press would intentionally make minor edits or overlook certain dates.
All right. So YouTube is still not allowing me to type, but Candace's real last name before she changed it to Owens was Rozay, Rozay, just so you all know. Do with that as you will.
Small adjustments rather made over a long period of time, a date wrong here, an age miscalculation there, just ever so slightly, because minor tweaks over a long period of time aren't noticeable, even though they ultimately amount to a big lie. This is exactly what I have found to be immediately frustrating about examining Erika's life. Minor tweaks that almost look like they could be mistakes. And you go, but really? Do people make these kinds of mistakes? Let's start with her birthday. Okay, I'll give you another example here. Erika Francevay, we are told, was born on November 20th, 1988 in Cincinnati, Ohio. Great. There's a newspaper relic announcing her birth 2 weeks later on December 6th. It tells us that she was born at Good Samaritan Hospital. Fantastic. To Kent and Lori Francevay. Check. Amazing. By the way, it's just something to note about Good Samaritan Hospital. A little fun fact. That actually used to be the U.S. Marines Hospital.
Oh, my God.
One that once upon a time caused a little bit of a scandal for unethically experimenting on brains of patients, the brains of...
Lisa, don't you love how she likes to take these in it, like normal things, like, or even these nefarious anecdotes, or as she would say, necdotes, and attach them to somebody else to assume guilt, or like, I don't even know where she's going with this. Like, that is completely immaterial to this, but she's going to try to tie this in. That this used to be some, I don't know. I don't even know where she's going to go. This military hospital. So clearly there's something nefarious going on here, that she was, I don't know, born in a test tube as a KGB asset, and it was just leftovers from this military hospital. I can't wait to see where she goes.
I'm tired of like this whole just because someone doesn't choose to give every single detail of their life in an article, that does not mean that you are lying. First of all, this is something that Candace does, where she will, so because she primarily focused on her mom, and like her mom being like her primary caregiver for the majority of her life, which that doesn't mean that that's a lie. Just because you see your dad every other weekend or every other holiday does not mean that your dad like raised you, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that she had a bad relationship with her dad either. It just means that her dad wasn't the primary caregiver for the majority of her life. But that's not a lie. That could just simply be the fact that her dad doesn't want to be known publicly. It could be simply that she knows that her dad doesn't want her to talk about him in the public. She's trying to protect his privacy. And I believe in the Tracy Martin interview that Graham Allen had, she mentioned that Erika's dad and her stepmom, the lady that he's married to now, are not in good health. Like, they can't travel. They have a lot of health issues and things like that. So it could just simply be that she didn't mention her dad because maybe he doesn't want to be talked about. He may not want to be mentioned, right? Like, Charlie didn't mention his parents a lot. In all of the years that I ever watched Charlie, he literally mentioned his parents maybe twice for like a few minutes on like a couple of podcasts, if that. And that was to protect his parents' privacy, which he said, like, they're not public people. They don't want to be known publicly. So I don't talk about them because they don't want to be known publicly. And now we have the Candace, cult screaming, where's Charlie's parents? Why are they not making public statements? And I'm like, because they don't want to. They've never wanted to be public. But that doesn't mean that Erika is lying. That doesn't mean that Charlie lied. It just means that these people don't want to be talked about publicly, and that's their right to not talk about them.
And we don't know anything about Candace's family, her parents, or anything else.
Right. Like, but does that mean she's lying about them? No, I wouldn't say she's lying about them. She's just maybe trying to protect their privacy, which is her right to do so, right?
And I like how we go a couple weeks without seeing Charlie's kids, Erika's kids, and now the rumor is they've been taken by CPS, which is just utterly ridiculous. That nobody has any proof of that. It's because you have
kids that didn't exist. You mean
Yeah.
the paid actor children that didn't exist because she never gave birth to them, right? Because she didn't show pictures of her pregnant, even though there's plenty of video and picture footage on her Instagram. You just have to go look for it. I found it all over the place. It's very easy to find. And I'm not a reporter. I'm not a journalist. And I was able to find it very quickly. But yeah, the children that don't exist, the paid actor children that have now been removed from her custody. Hey guys, I don't know if you realize this, but either the kids exist or they don't. But both of those things can't be true at the same time.
doesn't stop her from using it. She'll speak out of both sides of her mouth all day long.
Patients.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the story goes that the U.S. Marine Hospital just up and decided to gift the hospital to the Catholic Sisters of Charity out of the goodness of their Marine hearts or something, because our military is known for that, just being really, really kind and giving up hospitals. Point is, we learned from this newspaper clipping that Erika was born on November 20th, and she maintains that birthday today. But oddly, that would be news to her parents. Kent and Lori, for whatever reason, think that Erika was born 2 days later on November 22nd.
Oh, she's not
We know
doing
this because of their divorce filings, which
I'm going to lose my mind. I debunked this in a video.
Yep.
She's going to go to their divorce court documents that have November 22nd listed as Erika's birth date. Court documents are not correct, you guys. They don't have to be correct. They get birth dates and anniversary dates wrong all the time. I worked for a legal organization, and let me tell you, the amount of those documents that are wrong, it's insane. So because you have your paralegals and people who work for attorneys' offices are pumping out so much paperwork for the courts all the time with motions and all kinds of filings that they're filing, and they're doing so much paperwork that it would be impossible for them to get every single date and every single thing correct all the time. And the court is not going to backtrack to have the court like fix those documents because it's not worth it to them to have them do that. That just holds up the court system, which is already slow and held up all the time anyway. Okay. And so what they do is they'll say, unless the court was filed or unless the paperwork was filed with the intention of trying to like be nefarious for court purposes, that's the only time that they'll make you change those dates, is if it's been shown that you did that intentionally to throw the court off.
Yeah.
But if it was an honest
it has a material impact on the case.
Yes. If it was an honest mistake, though, they will just run with the paperwork as is, because this stuff literally happens all the time. But this is what this is so infuriating.
I know.
Because this is retarded. Oh my God, I can't.
She's gonna use an admin error as proof of I don't even know what.
That
I guess
she's
they're
lying about her date of birth. Yeah,
they're lying about her date of birth by 2 days, so that makes her an evil person. And of course,
what woman do you know that would lie about their date of birth by 2 days? If I wanted to appear younger, why would I lie for 2 days? Like, what is that going to do for me if I'm trying to lie about my date of birth?
Clearly, this is proof that she killed Charlie. That's really what it comes down to.
Right, totally.
In 1998. On that divorce initial filing, Lori, who filed, lists Erika as having been born on November 22nd, multiple times.
Oh my God.
Now, in case you're thinking, well, maybe this was a mistake, you should know that the filing done by her mother, Lori, only has 4 statements of fact. It's effectively a one-pager. One of the facts is that Kent and Lori were married on November 20th, 1995 in Marblehead, Massachusetts. So they decided to get married on what would have been Erika's 7th birthday. Okay, that's strange. I mean, at least the birthday she says she has, but this document is saying, no, she's born 2 days later. So I guess it wasn't her 7th birthday. Attached to this document, which was filed on July 20th, 1998, is another document that I can only assume was scanned in with an intention to further confuse people. It's a separation agreement, which is not notarized. It's not dated. So it's almost not relevant. And it completely edits the date of the marriage between Kent and Lori from November 20th, 1995 down to November 7th, 1982. A casual 13 years and 13 days wiped out. Okay.
Oh my God.
Like I said, you can just ignore that because I think that document was just put in there to confuse people. Take it from me. I'm a notary, one in the state of New York, although my license is expired. You can't just skip over a notary portion of a document and just be fine with that. In fact, we decided to dig through Ohio law and other publicly available divorce documents to see what they look like, and they are legitimate. And here is a side-by-side so you can see on the right is what is scanned into their file with totally different dates. And on the left, you can see that that's what it should look like. You get it notarized, okay? But it's going to get even more absurd when we examine the divorce decree. So for the uninitiated, the first document is just the filing. I, Lori, am pursuing a divorce, and here are the facts. And now what comes after that is the decree or the final judgment, okay? Now, I do want to note that this was the fastest divorce in the history of divorce because she filed on July 20th, 1998. And then we have a decree on November 10th of the same year. So this is like 3 months later. Once again, the marriage date is listed, the initial marriage date between Kent and Lori, as November 20th, 1995 in Marblehead, Massachusetts. But oddly, you can see that somebody just went in and tried to edit that date by hand afterward, adjusting the wedding date down this time to 1985, not 1982, hoping, I guess, that no one would catch that. I guess the unnotarized 1982 that we saw in the initial filing was too difficult. It would have been too obvious. So this time they're attempting to do it by hand and edit the date of marriage back just 10 years, not 13 years. This is not subtle. It is not normal, and it bothers me greatly. Take it from someone who is chronically...
Folks, there it is. It bothers her. She doesn't have an explanation, so she's going to fill in an explanation for you. And by the way, we just looked at that document that clearly did have some sort of hand editing by pen. We don't know when that was done. We don't know who that was done by. So, I mean, again, what we have is, I don't even know where we're going with this, but let's
I mean, so to fix a court document like that, right? So if you see that your date of birth is wrong, or your children's date of birth is wrong, or your marriage date is wrong, again, because this stuff is wrong in court documents all the time, a simple Google search, literally, all you have to do, I in the video that I have, it's on my X account, you guys can go pull it up, where I go over this whole thing. I literally showed you where a simple 5-second Google search will tell you that this is common and that this happens, right? And that the court will still proceed and like keep going. Now, what you can do is you can submit an official amendment, like an addendum,
right,
to your court documents to have them amended. Now, Erika, when her parents divorced, she would have been 10 years old. Obviously, we're not saying that we expect a 10-year-old Erika to send an official amendment to the court to fix her parents' divorce documents from when she was 10 years old. That's ridiculous. I guarantee you she probably hasn't even looked at that divorce decree, like, at all, if she even has. But yeah, like, so you can fix those things, but you have to submit an official amendment to the court, which, again, Erika was 10 years old when her parents divorced. So there's that.
Being sued. That is not how modifications work on court documents. You can't just use a pen and write something on a divorce decree. You just can't do that. People have to initial, you got to date, you got to see who saw it. This is crazy to me. My suspicion, and again, this is just a general suspicion, is that this was done after the fact. Maybe someone had a friend down at the county clerk who was responsible for scanning those docs into the system, and they just kind of did that. Because that's not real life. That's just not real life. And once again, that has another casually added separation agreement, which is still not notarized, with an entirely different date of marriage. And the crazy part is that the separation agreement, in that separation agreement, Kent Francevey is waiving his rights to an attorney with no notary present. He just agrees that Lori's lawyer can represent him on everything. So what are we to discern from this? We are at 4 different plausible marriage dates between Kent and Lori Francevey across 2 documents. I should also add that I could not find a single trace of their alleged marriage in Marblehead, Massachusetts. Doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, but I couldn't find it across any date. And Marblehead, I would like to note, is certainly an interesting town to pick because it's the recognized birthplace of the Marine Corps. we're going to keep hearing the Marines coming up throughout this entire story. We're just laying the groundwork here. Now, I should note, to be responsible here, that there are divorce-related documents that are available in Ohio online that we simply are not allowed to have access to. Like, people have privacy, that makes sense. So it's entirely plausible that they went in and fixed these glaring errors that for some reason a judge, we're supposed to believe a judge.
So basically what she's saying right here is I'm just spouting unconfirmed bullshit. And by the way, we're going to start throwing the Marine Corps under the bus and our military under the bus for no reason. Like, again, go ahead.
At the end of the day, how is any of this Erika Kirk's fault? Okay. So even if this was true and there's this crazy thing with her parents' divorce, again, she would have been 10 years old. How is anything how her parents handled whatever with their divorce and their stuff? Again, how are we putting this on a 10-year-old? How is that her responsibility or her problem or her fault in any way, shape, or form? Again, I really want to know how she's going to link this back to somehow being Erika's, again, like, that's wild to me. But then also, I want to go pull those documents, because those documents I've seen online and they don't have those handwritten corrections to them. I believe that this one may have added those corrections and scanned them in herself, because I want to, like, somebody please go find those documents and see if those corrections are actually on there, because I've seen people show those online and they never showed those handwritten corrections. I want to know if she added them after the fact.
Well, we're not going to get to anything concrete. This is going to be what she normally does, and that is guilty through insinuation. She's leading people along. Now, look, in her comments after the show, it's like, yep, the Marine Corps did something nefarious. They're in on this. Like, that's where we're going with this. It's just insinuation. It's gossip. It is.
And even if the Marines did, again, how would that be Erika's fault?
Signed off on this many wacky different dates. But the point here is just to demonstrate to you how even the most mundane facts about Erika's life are frustrating to verify. And that's just an appetizer, my friends.
Business.
Because then we received a very interesting email from Sweden. Yeah, my Sweden fans, what's up? What's up, Sweden? And it led me to even more questions about Erika's paternity. We are going to be right back after a break. All right, you guys, some good news. Thanks to you last year.
Well, we're going to fast forward right through all this nonsense.
23 in January 2020.
Wait another month. Take
God.
grandmother, Loretta, more in interest and fees. There is no better time to start taking control of your debt than right now. So do not wait another month. Take back control in 30 seconds. Get your free personalized assessment and the best option for you by visiting pdsdebt.com/Candace. Again, that's pdsdebt.com/Candace. Okay, so we obviously cannot go so far as to suggest that Lori, Loretta, Abbas, Stanley, Wallstad, Franzwey was openly committing fraud. We can't say that. What we can confirm to you, however, is that if she was doing that, breaking the law and committing fraud is something that Lori's family is kind of historically known for. They kind of arrived into this country doing just that. You see, Lori Franzwey, like I said, was born Loretta Abbas. She was named after her Syrian grandmother, Loretta Abbas. I want to sear into your mind right now that the Abbas family history is steep in gambling and casinos. All about gambling and casinos specifically. As we go along in this series, the history and the present of gambling casinos is going to become increasingly relevant. So let's bring in the OG Loretta Abbas.
Here we go. Again, laying the groundwork, priming your brain, priming you low IQ followers. Clearly her chat is not having any sort of issues whatsoever. That thing is moving at a mile a minute.
And I want to remind you guys that Lori Franzwey is literally dying right now. Just, this is what we're doing to a literally dying woman, just so we're all on the same page. This is how disgusting this is. Candace is picking this woman's life apart, again, for things that I don't even understand how you're going to link this back to how any of this is any of these people's fault or how they're responsible for any of this in any way, shape, or form. So your family lied on some documents to come over through Ellis Island. Apparently that's my fault because my ancestors did that. I guess that's somehow my fault. But again, all of that in a roundabout way to say that Lori is literally like fighting for her life right now. She is severely ill,
and can't
sick
defend
and
herself.
dying, and this is what we're going to do. Okay.
And she can't defend herself right now. And I want you to look at, I mean, if you go through Candace's comments, I mean, it doesn't get more disgusting. Look at this one right here. Disgruntled Belly Z. Erika's plastic surgery clearly removed her Jewish nose and jawline. She tried to seem like a beautiful blonde Swedish. And they just get nastier and nastier from there. This is one that I like. Timu documentary. I'll promote that one a little bit. But yeah, it goes back to the original comment that this documentary, air quotes, is nothing more than her normal podcast. It's just a normal podcast pre-tape.
It would not surprise me if she doesn't try to link this into her being Jewish somehow, because
I'm sure she's going.
I mean, where would we be without the Jew hatred? Of course, we got to always bring it back to that. So that would not shock me at all.
Me neither.
Erika's great-grandmother, who died in 1990, who was just constantly being arrested for running illegal slot machines. Okay. She came over from Syria and she got to work bringing filth and fraud in Pennsylvania. You check out this article from 1941 where she testifies that she ran numbers. It says Loretta Abbas of Washington, Thomas Roberts, whatever, testified that they engaged in the numbers business and had been arrested on numerous occasions. They explained their role in the numbers lottery without giving any direct testimony against the defendants.
Number one, do we have any actual proof that this is the correct Loretta Abbas? We don't have any of this stuff. Like, this is the sloppiest slop I've ever seen. You can talk about Fed slop all you want. Fed slop is up here, and somewhere 50 feet below me is the Candace slop. This is not an investigation. This is like a child playing Blue's Clues, and that's not even very good at it. And, you know, like we saw with her previous podcast with the Blue's Clues, is freaking insane.
Okay, here's another one. We could keep going, but here's another article from 1944 where she pleads guilty to a lottery charge. Was before the court. She wasn't lying. She's always arrested on a lottery charge. The state police had a search warrant, and when they entered her house, they found a quantity of number slips. She was sentenced to pay the cost and $200 or 5 months in the county jail. Like I said, this was a family thing. Her husband was Mason Abbas, and he was magnificently fraudulent. I'm talking high-speed chases down the highway, lottery tickets blowing in the wind. Check out this article from 1935, and it tells us that he was overtaken in his automobile after a chase of several miles after he had failed to obey the officer's order to stop. Yes, Mason Abbas was arrested yesterday by County Detective Frank Krebs. Before an alderman, he was held for court in default of $1,000.
I can't get over how ridiculous this is.
1941, so Erika was not even thought of yet.
Because these ancestors were guilty of something going back to 1941, and we don't even know if they're actually the ancestors. There's no direct link. There's nothing that's been said. Like, we can't exactly link or directly link Erika to these people, whether they have, ancestral names or not.
Oh, someone says she went back. Oh, this is from 1935. Okay, still like way before Erika was ever even a blip anywhere on anybody's thought process. That's insane. Her parents would have barely even been a blip on anybody's thought process at this point.
I'm sure her parents were born in the 50s or 60s.
Yeah, like what? These are literally this. So this would be what, like her great grandparents?
Great grandparents, or we don't even know if that's that.
Apparently, you should hold me accountable for the actions of my great grandparents. Is that what we're saying?
And or great aunts or uncle. Like, we don't even know, and we don't even know if they're actually related. They just have. She's linked this ancestral name, and now we got to go off of what she says that this is a direct descendant of Erika. Like, none of it. All of it hurts my brain. That's what it is. All of it hurts my brain.
$1,000 bond on a charge of conducting a lottery. Was fined $10 and costs for refusing to stop when ordered to do so by a uniformed officer. During the race along the National Pike, which ended in West Alexander, Abbas is alleged to have thrown a package of 100 lottery tickets from his car.
Oh my God.
Officers recovered the tickets and are holding them as evidence. Yes. Lottery, gambling, slot machines. Again, steer that into your mind.
You know what this is? This is the exact same trope. Your parents great-grandparents, ancestors were slaveholders, so therefore you're guilty of racism. This is how ridiculous this is. I like anybody that's watching this on her channel and is like, and the thing is, I know they will be. They're like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is some groundbreaking shit right here. This is some of the best detective work I've ever seen. She's went all the way back to 1935 to prove that Erika Kirk killed Charlie Kirk.
Just on Erika's maternal side of the family, not just the Abbas side, but also the Swedish side, the Fransvej side. The Swedish side of the family, I will be clear, there's a notable difference. It seems like they've been involved legally. Carl Kenneth Fransvej is Erika's
They've been involved legally? What does that even mean?
paternal grandfather. Okay, he participated extensively in horse racing. More crucially, though, he was an executive at the American Banknote Company in Illinois.
Oh my God.
This is the company that was responsible for printing lottery tickets. It's a big contract, a big deal. Here he is in a newspaper in 1974 doing just that.
Look at this. It was such lascivious, illegal behavior that there's a news article on it. This public information that this groundbreaking reporter has uncovered.
Reads, printing began this week on the first Illinois state lottery tickets. Up to 10,000 agents. It tells us at the bottom there that Kent Fransvej of the American Banknote Company, the printer, examines the first tickets of the initial press run. Let's stick with Grandpa Carl Kenneth Fransvej for a little bit because he is, by all accounts, obviously Swedish. Erika herself is therefore Syrian Lebanese on her mother's side and Swedish on her father's side. So something which struck me as immediately odd about Erika is just how deeply she identifies as Swedish, despite her public insistence that she was raised by a quote unquote single mother. Think about that just from a social perspective. If Erika was indeed raised by a single mother, wouldn't you expect her to identify more deeply with those Lebanese Syrian roots, right? You might even understand it if she resented her Swedish roots. Like, my dad didn't do anything, and so I'm not even doing anything with the Swedes. I don't even like being Swedish. To the contrary, Erika feels so deeply attached to her Scandinavian roots that in 2019, she moved to begin the process of obtaining her dual citizenship. She posted this herself, where she is, dual citizenship commenced. Okay. Maybe you're thinking logically, well, she loves her grandpa. I had a fantastic grandpa. I get that. I should mention she comes from a very long line of the Swedish Freemasons. She definitively was close to her grandfather. We know this because she posts about him many, many times.
This is mind-numbingly retarded, people. I don't even know what to say. I don't have words to express how stupid this is.
Over the years, referring to him affectionately as her morfar. Saw this over and over again. You just see posts of him on how much she loves him. She even mentioned her grandmother there. That's his wife, Elaine. And she says she is my angel in heaven, but I usually call her Mormor. So that's her morfar and her Mormor. Show you another post, just her grandfather, where she's going to talk about reflecting upon losing him in 2016. She's posting this, and she again is going to address him as her morfar. This appears to be another wrinkle. You see, I received a flurry of emails from our fans in Sweden about this particular post, and they did not like this post. And what they told me about it, they didn't like about it, made me reconsider things. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but they said, Candace, Erika is referring to her grandfather as her morfar. I was like, okay. So I looked it up. It means grandfather in Swedish. Like, maybe she doesn't, but it's cute. Okay. Maybe she's not fluent, but it's cute. And then they explained it to me a little further. They said, no, Candace, the Swedish language is quite literal here. Morfar quite literally translates into mother's father, morfar. And farfar quite literally translates into father's father. We have different words for these things. These have entirely different meanings. You would never call your father's mother your morfar. You would never call, that's what she's doing. She's calling him her morfar. That is Erika's farfar. If Kent is her father, her father's father is her farfar. She said, woman emailed this, she said, no Swedish grandfather would ever allow you to refer to him as Morfar if he was not actually your Morfar. Okay. If he was your Farfar, he'd say, very cute. I'm your Farfar. Let's get that straight. This would be something akin to being someone's grandfather.
Oh my God.
As her Morfar. I was like, okay. So I looked it up. It means grandfather in Swedish. Like maybe she doesn't, but it's cute. Okay. Maybe she's not fluent, but she's cute. And then they explained it to me a little further. They said, no,
they explained
Candace.
They explain it. They explain that this is the most evil thing that someone could ever say. Morfar versus Farfar.
The Swedish language is quite literal here. Morfar quite literally translates into mother's father.
Oh, God.
Morfar.
Morfar.
And Farfar quite literally translates into father's father. We have different words for these things. These have entirely different meanings. You would never call your father's mother your Morfar. You would never call. That's what she's doing. She's calling him her Morfar.
Call Fox Mulder,
that is Erika's
guys.
Farfar.
Get the X-Files on this right now. I mean, this is. Do you understand that children will literally, like, they come up with the names for their grandparents, and they will pull things out of the middle of nowhere. My son could my mother-in-law wanted to be called Nana. Okay. My son could not say Nana. He could not say banana. He could not say Nana. So he started calling her Mina. And guess what stuck? Mina stuck. To this day, she is still Mina because my son could not say the word Nana when he was like a year old or whatever. So at the end of the day, Erika could have been a literal toddler baby, just not understanding like how it was supposed to be in the Swedish. And what'd she say? Maffer maybe was all that she could.
Morfar versus Farfar.
Morfar. Maybe that's all she could say when she was, a 9-10 month old, 1 year old child. And so that's just what stuck. And they probably thought that it was funny in their family. It probably was like a running joke, just like us, that Mina became Mina because my son could not say Nana, right? Like, and so now it's a joke within our family that she's Mina. Like, that's how ridiculous, like, these things come back to, is like the most easy to explain things, but she's going to turn it into the most like ridiculous conspiracy. I'm just like, oh my God.
Did you know that Mina in Latin is the literal translation of evil person that is an ancestor to a demon? I don't know if you knew that, but that's
probably
that's
is. So there must be some conspiracy in our family because my son called his grandma Mina.
If Kent is her father's father is her Farfar.
His father's father is her Farfar. Like, how can you sit there and just say these things with a straight face? It is.
She said, woman emailed this. She said, no Swedish grandfather would ever allow you to refer to him as Morfar if he was not actually your Morfar. Okay. If he was your Farfar, he'd say, very cute. I'm your Farfar. Let's get that straight. This would be something akin to.
I can't wait for the video clips of this to come out.
Being someone's grandfather and allowing them to call you uncle. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. Words have meaning. So why is her very Swedish grandfather so Swedish, this line of Freemasons, Swedish, allowing Erika to call him my mother's father? Lori's father? No, that's not Lori's father. What's going on here? This is an incredibly interesting wrinkle, which brings us to a point where we should introduce you to the family tree so you can just kind of see what's going on here, because this Morfar Farfar scandal troubles me deeply. Is Erika lying? Is she mistaking? Is she making a mistake at all? Or is she accidentally actually trying to tell us the truth?
I need a Lord Farquaad
look at some
meme right now with Candace Owens.
On March 21st of 2019, Erika.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. Like, this is watching like the retarded version of Shrek. Like, this is Shrek for the retarded kids. If you are over in the corner practicing biting your ear or wearing a helmet or licking a window, this is the version of Shrek that you get to watch.
Visits with Charlie. She's in Jerusalem with Charlie, what is known as Zion's Gate in Jerusalem. She posts a picture with a pretty curious caption. It reads in part, Meet Darla, a Romanian Jew that now calls Israel home.
Oh my God.
She was sitting by
No.
my family's dedication sign for restoring the Zion Gate in Jerusalem. Oh. What?
What?
Why is Erika describing the Zion's Gate as her family's dedication? Speaking of which, why does her one-time roommate, Nicole Rothstein, allege that half of their family, referring to her and Erika's family, is Jewish? Doesn't make sense. She also claimed
I think we
that
called it.
Charlie's
Yeah, we did. We knew
Bingo.
we knew where this was going, and
Mhm.
somehow it might be. I don't know how long the series is, but somewhere about halfway, 3/4 through it, we're going to find a direct lineage to Bibi Netanyahu. That's
Oh
what's
my
gonna,
God.
that's what's going to happen. Bibi Netanyahu is actually her far or more far or far. We'll see, but I think that's where we're going with this.
after Charlie's assassination that Erika, she was online going back and forth with people, that Erika was her best friend and her cousin. Nicole Rothstein said this. Now, to be clear, the Rothstein family, the Zion's Gate is their dedication.
Oh,
Nicole wouldn't be lying if she posted that it was her family's dedication, but Erika? Also, how did Erika and Nicole Rothstein get so close? Remember, Erika presents that she was raised by a single mother on the Lebanese side. If Erika is telling the truth about her paternity, then Nicole Rothstein, I want you to understand who this would be to her. Nicole Rothstein, it's going to sound ridiculous, but this is the reality. If Erika's telling the truth, Nicole Rothstein would be Erika's father's sister's husband's previous wife's daughter's daughter. In other words, zero blood relation, not even kind of related, kind of crazy. You would even call each other cousins. People do that. It's cool. It's my cousin. It's my cousin. Okay, cool. Erika goes a little further, though. Erika also posted a lovely tribute to Alan Rothstein, Nicole's father, online. She calls him uncle. Uncle? Whoa. If Erika's telling the truth about who her parents are, to Erika, that would be her father's sister's husband's previous wife's daughter's husband.
I just want to read this real quick. I'm trying to look for and see this. Just want to see the text in here. All right. There's something powerful about God's strategic planning when it comes to the people he's surrounding you. How blessed am I to have individuals like you, Uncle Alan, in my life that are filled with spirit, constantly seeing life in bloom. I've watched you face adversity and triumph, and in doing so, pass a gift of courage and message of understanding to those around you that if you live boldly and fearlessly, the impossible is possible. I love you. So that's what she said there. I'm not even sure if this is their actual uncle or if that's some sort of term of endearment. Who knows? Candace doesn't know, but she'll pretend that she does.
Suffice to say, again, absolutely zero blood relation, and yet Erika is extraordinarily close to him as well. Now, we can show you on the family chart just how removed this is. It's insane. Okay, but we actually couldn't even fit it. It's so far removed. So you got her aunt, Carla, is married to a guy named Jack, but Jack was also previously married to somebody else, which you see there, named Edna. And this is Edna and Jack's line. This has nothing to do with Erika Franzwe. Again, how did she get so close to these people? Why is she referring to them as her family and declaring that Zion's Gate, which is actually their family's dedication, which has nothing to do with her aunt Carla? Why is she saying that that's her family's dedication? That makes no sense.
You're right.
I'm shocked by
Doesn't make
this.
sense. It's not because of Erika, though.
We could imagine how it could make sense. Now, again, we're imagining here. We're trying to make sense of the things that Erika is saying. I could imagine a very easy way it could actually make sense. Her closeness to the Rothsteins, her dedication to Jerusalem, if and only if we take Erika literally when she says morfar. Let's assume that Grandpa Carl is indeed her mother's father. That would mean, well, obviously, Lori's wouldn't be her mother. It would also mean that Kent, just by nature of him being a man, is not her father. We're looking for her mother's father. So we have to start looking at Kent's siblings that are females. That would give us only 3 options. We can bring this back up. One of Kent's sisters would be my first pick.
Oh, God.
Again, we're in conspiracy land here, but I'd go with Carla because she's married to Jack Solomon, and that is Jack Solomon's dedication. Carla wasn't even married to Jack until 2002. We just jumped in and was like, this is my whole family and my family's dedication. No. But if Carla, her mother's father, if her mother was Carla, actually it would all make sense. Solomon is the very man who financed the restoration of Zion's Gate in Jerusalem. If Jack Solomon was her father, then Nicole Rothstein would indeed be her blood relative.
So we just created a new father for Erika out of nothing more than supposition, conjecture, and because it fits a narrative. That's what just happened there, folks. We don't know this, but it would all
and
make
of
sense.
course to link her back to being Jewish, because you have to have the dirty, evil Jews in there somewhere.
I've never seen anyone that looks more Jewish than Erika Kirk. I mean,
oh my Lanta, I can't.
Out of just pure imagination and throwing a bunch of squares up on a screen, like why stop? Let's just go back to the Rothschild. Let's just figure out somebody in the lineage of the Rothschild and put them in there. And I don't know, Bibi Netanyahu. Like there is zero. This is all conjecture. It's imagination. It's what if. It's conspiratorial freaking brain rot.
And it's the same thing that she does. She did this with the Kamala Harris investigation. Remember when she did the whole thing into Kamala Harris's family and all of the linking that she did there? It was the same garbage where she didn't actually show, like she said, she could have just been pulling people from wherever. And the same thing that she did with the Macron investigation, where she was linking it back in. Remember, somehow it ended up being that Bridget Macron is his father. Remember, because she's actually a man. And like, she's literally like taking her, I mean, this is what she does. And now she's just doing the exact same rinse and repeat style crap, but she's doing it to Erika Kirk now. It's literally the same garbage.
She's just making shit up on the fly and then presenting it or implying that it's true. And all of her idiot followers will believe it, regurgitate it, retweet it, continue to spin it and sell it as fact. And then it just goes out into the zeitgeist as fact. Like, oh, this is proven. She proved it. She proved it somewhere. And they'll even lose track of where this actually came from. This information came from. Nobody's going to go back in here. It's just going to continue to be repeated. A lie that's going to continue to be repeated until it's accepted as truth amongst her idiot morons. And then that's where it is. Like, oh, she proved it. She gave receipts. And this is the same thing with the French assassination plot. It's the same thing as the French and the Israels actually killed Charlie Kirk. Like, this is the peak of evidence and receipts that she provides for every material claim. This is the best it gets, folks. And then these morons are like, yep, makes perfect sense to me. It's so frustrating. It just blows my mind.
And if you go back and watch the Bridget Macron stuff, and if you go back and watch the Kamala Harris stuff, I'm telling you, this is her pattern that she does. You'll literally go back and watch those, and you guys are going to be like, oh my God, because it's the exact same cookie cutter like stuff.
Yeah.
Cousin, but again, that's purely speculation. We don't have to go into speculation. Let's give you the facts more about Jack Solomon. What is factual is that Jack Solomon eventually marries Carla Ronsvay in 2002. And there are also some other really interesting facts about Jack. Jack and Erika's mommy aunt, I don't know, Carla, live in Utah. He graduated from what is today known as Utah Valley University. He's very involved in the university. It was formerly known as Utah Valley State College when he graduated from there. He also created on their campus the Center for Jewish Studies. I mean, at the very least, you'd think with all of the money that he poured into that university, he might be able to call someone to get us more footage of Tyler Robinson. Or Carla. How about Carla? She's married to the man. She could have maybe, in my imagination, made it to the hospital when Charlie was shot and killed. I mean, why did none of them make it to the hospital? They're all so nearby.
Wait a second. All right. Because somebody has a tie to a university whose footage has now been seized for a criminal investigation, that this person can reach, like, this is what she expects. She expects this person to provide her this footage that is evidence of a criminal investigation. She wants someone to illegally provide this footage to her. And if they're not doing that, then they're not acting in good faith, and clearly they're involved. It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I
She
don't even.
doesn't live in the real world. Like her
No.
expectations are not realistic at all.
She's delusional. She is so delusional, and then all of her followers are just as delusional as she is, and they don't understand anything. If I hear one more time, why haven't they released the footage of him actually taking the shot? I'm going to lose my mind. It's because apparently nobody understands how criminal investigations are conducted. You don't understand basic civics, and you don't understand that it's the authorities' duty, constitutional responsibility to preserve evidence to present to an unbiased, unprejudiced jury so that the defendant gets a fair trial. Do you people not understand that? Are you so dumb and ignorant that you don't understand the basics of civil society and how the justice system here in the United States works?
And also, the prosecution is not going to show their full hand of cards. Like, that'd be like showing your full deck of cards when you're playing a game of poker, right? Like, you're not going to do that. And that's how the courtroom works. A lot of it is you don't want the defense. Now, there's certain things that the defense has to know ahead of time. But then there's other things that you don't want the defense to know your entire strategy in the courtroom. That would be idiotic and stupid to do that.
Yeah, from a strategy standpoint, but the defense is going to get equal access to all the evidence. But regardless, where we've become such an idiocracy that these morons that are sitting around on this watching Candace and everywhere else that are conspiratorial idiots believe that it is the state's responsibility to prove to them that Tyler Robinson is guilty before they'll accept him even having charges. That's not how this works, folks. And if you think that, you're as ignorant and as dumb, and the left has done an excellent job making our entire society so stupid that it's self-destructive.
She still lives in Utah. This happened in their backyard. Their family has a lot of power at UVU. Why not Auntie Carla rather than Stacey Sheridan accompanying you onto Air Force 2 as your husband's body is escorted to Arizona? Jack Solomon was also a professor at BYU in political science. He's the former director of the university's Jerusalem Center. He also served on the Center for Jewish Studies on the board at UVU. Zion's Gate, like I said, is his dedication. And if you're wondering how Jack got so rich, it's because back in 1968, Jack and his business partner, a man named Norman Vance, began a company called Advanced Patent Technology. That company would go on to manufacture slot machines. You got it. Slot machines. Everybody's
Oh my God.
amazing. It's like everyone is involved in gambling. Per his bio, in 1974, Jack gathered more than $5 million to purchase United Coin, the manufacturer of slot machines and the holder of a profitable Southern Nevada slot machine routes. In 1979, they announced plans for the Colorado Bell Hotel and Casino in Laughlin, Nevada, the first of a series of hotels to be built in the Las Vegas area. They had a lot of power in that area. Where were they?
Where were they?
I don't know. It's an interesting connection. And I am marking that for all the YouTubers who are interested in investigation. The gambling thing keeps coming up. And I guess, as me and Charlie used to say, the rest is future. We'll be right back after a quick break. All right, I'm going to tell you about Nimi Skincare because it is the only skincare brand that I've actually stayed consistent with. As much as stuff, it happens with and if fraud occurs, their U.S. But Erika moved to Arizona.com and you'll get a free title history report and a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That is 24/7 monitoring of your title records, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud occurs, their U.S.-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix it. Again, that's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code Candace, or just use the link in the description below. All right, now for some fun, because remember when they were freaking out about me discussing time travel, me discussing specifically Project Looking Glass, the CIA thing that actually happened. They allegedly stole Sumerian technology to peer into the future. Well, you have to imagine my surprise when I began looking into Erika's early years. For some reason, I was under the impression, maybe you were too, but Erika moved to Arizona after her parents' divorce. So that would put her in Arizona after 1998. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt here because it's a minor wrinkle, but her parents didn't divorce until she was 10.
She actually time traveled and actually moved to Arizona in 1948. So,
I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. How kind of you, Candace. Give yourself
you don't
a
know
pat
what
on the
the F
back,
you're
girl.
talking about. You don't know what you're talking about at all. You can't develop a solid timeline at all. So you're just going to give her the benefit of the doubt. Oh, thank you,
Yeah,
Candace.
totally.
Thank you. You're so gracious.
But it's totally possible, like when you're a kid and your parents are separating many times before they get divorced, that you associate a divorce with a separation. Anyway, here's the true timeline. Erika was in Cincinnati, Ohio for daycare in 1992. She attended a place called Walnut Corner Children's Center in Cincinnati, Ohio, located inside of a massive corporate building. Oddly, the filing for that daycare doesn't have a floor number, but I can show you this photo of her at daycare. LOL, by the way, to her being dressed as a little bee and accidentally throwing up some Freemason hand signs. It's just like a nice ad. She looks adorable.
Oh my God.
Thereafter, she moves to Arizona and she attends a school that they have virtually tried to wipe from public existence. Now, it's very difficult to explain this unless you're in the weeds, but there is another school by the same name that goes on for a little bit longer. But this particular school came to fruition when a man named John T. Goley incorporated Educational Alternatives up in Minnesota. It was called Educational Alternatives Incorporated. Now, John T. Goley was a big guy. He had formerly helped launch Roundup Monsanto, just a little bit of government poisoning you, giving you a bunch of cancer. This time, though, he was pioneering charter schools in America. He teamed up with the Walton family, the Bush family. Yeah, everybody involved in this school that Erika's going to attend. It's interesting. I don't know. Don't you want to go to school where the Bush is, the Walton?
Edie's in the chat. Edie says Helen Keller did the research for this investigation series. Right. I think she would do a much better job, to be honest. Like, is it just me, or like I can't even keep track of all these spider webs that she's weaving here? Now we're in Monsanto, the Bushes. I don't know. New World Order, clear. I mean, it has to be obvious to everybody after this. Like, there's no conclusion that you can come to at the end of this. That the military is going to have to admit of their involvement in Charlie Kirk's assassination, and that Erika Kirk was clearly the mastermind behind it.
Monsanto is getting together a school. I don't know. Want to send your kids? Anyways, John T. Goley, and Jeb Bush went on to Good Morning America to announce the project. The schools would come to be known as Tesseract schools, named after the children's book, A Wrinkle in Time, a story about time travel. The protagonist.
Oh God, here we go.
Space. It's also the Tesseract of fame that is in all the Marvel movies as well.
Oh my God. How is she getting further from the plot? Like, aren't you supposed to be moving closer to the plot? Somehow actually got like removed, and now we have either things that she's gonna have to etch back again. Somehow she's gonna have to attach all this back to Erika and responsibility along the way. Like, only in a reverse direction. Try to make that happening right now.
Can you imagine her, I guess, in there and just being in awe of how magical and intelligent this all is?
Tesseract to rescue their family forces, battle between good and using time travel. Fun. Powerful Family Society Rec School in Arizona, the small school in Pace Valley.
Oh my God.
It is that specific school that Erika attended that is virtually impossible to come by. Many documenting. They needed a space for the school. They decided they were going to rent the building that was owned by a Jewish school. Forgive my terrible Hebrew, but the school, I kid you not, was called Galadim Looking Glass. So Tesseract, way Looking Glass.
There
Fantastic.
goes those
I
dirty.
just saw some clues. I was like, out about this episode ago. I thought I had already Looking Glass school that way. Tesseract, the school in terms of the administration. The teachers are all Jewish. I'm nosy. I was.
Well, let's see them. Share the yearbooks. The Tesseract school and the Looking Glass school.
I love how she has to tell us she was working so hard while she was off, guys. Because every person watching this is like, did you do anything while you were off? Because what is this?
What? No, she didn't.
Off. And I can show you that Erika was at school.
Show her.
I don't have every year yet, but I do have some years, 1995 to 1996 in first grade, 1996 to 1997.
Why is all the important information of this freaking blurred out? What school is this? Like, show us.
In second grade and 1997 to 1998, which is her in third grade. I got to tell you, I am so glad that I found this Tesseract. I didn't get to time travel with it. I don't think I did. You think they saw me in a Looking Glass? How panicked were they when I said Looking Glass? Whoa, no, she's talking about Project Looking Glass. That's crazy. Meanwhile, they're down in Arizona, like naming their schools Project Looking Glass, like Looking Glass Tesseract. Put them in the school. I just love that. It was like an accidental troll. But
what a condescending, stupid inclusion of words.
What is very exciting about finding her at this school is that it unlocked a lot of important things that needed to be known about Erika's life and her connections. I mean, wow. Speaking to people who went to that school, the one in Paradise Valley, to be very clear, there's other Tesseracts. It got shut down. The one I'm talking about got shut down in the year 2000. And then other schools, because they had other schools, kept going. They changed ownership. But this one was there for a very small amount of time. I'm looking at the yearbooks, and there are some interesting players involved in this school that kind of went down for fraud. Just robbing the piggy bank. It's like a recurring theme. We're going to stop here, though.
Hey, I know a couple people are saying that the YouTube stream was glitchy. Let me know if it's glitchy over on Rumble and X as well, or if it's just YouTube. I don't know if my internet connection is having issues or what's going on. Obviously, if it's not glitchy on X and Rumble, it's YouTube and not my internet. So let me know what's going on there.
For today, because that's a lot. I've given you a lot today to digest, and we should probably get to comments.
Oh my God.
It's just a lot, guys. There's a lot going on with that Tesseract school. We'll be back after a short break. All right, you guys, between groceries, travel, and higher prices, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, especially.
Okay.
A whole lot of hot garbage, but okay.
I am mentally and emotionally drained from that. That was the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. I'm not going to lie. Like, it was the dumbest thing I've ever subjected myself to sit and listen to and watch. Like,
if I was your supporters, I would be so pissed right now. I'd be like, we waited so long for that. But you know that they won't be, because they're so freaking brainwashed, unfortunately, that they're going to think that this is the best thing since sliced bread. But at the end of the day, like, anybody with half a brain cell should be pissed that this is what she just gave you. Again, they won't be, because they're idiotic, but wow, you should be really mad right about now, just saying.
That is, yeah, it's absolutely insane. While she's on this part, and we'll come back to it, I don't know what's going on with, and I don't know if it's my internet or what's happening here. Chat was suddenly disabled over on hers. I'm going to refresh this, and we're going to, good God, I would never start over.
Please don't do that to us. I don't think I can take it. I'm going to stroke out.
I definitely couldn't take it. I do want to see if I can get to her chat, because I do want to see what's being said in her chat for sure.
You know, Zach's over there eating it up, boy. Oh. He's like,
he's taking notes.
Yes, Mommy Candace, give me some more.
This is, we'll have to we'll have to analyze their chat for sure. And if there's anybody in there that claims that made any sense whatsoever, well, you're just a moron. I don't know what to say about that. Let's see what she has to say here.
Why are Jewish people naming their schools Looking Glass? I'm just wondering. It's just like creative and fun to call a school of a looking glass. I'm just saying, just asking questions. I'm just asking questions while it's still legal, and it's not going to be legal for long. Okay, Jenny writes in the comment section, you are loved and supported by many. Christ is king. Thank you. I keep going because it's important that we get to the bottom of what is going on in this world. It is so crazy what they are trying to do. It's like day in and day out. It's a psychological operation on the masses. Like, you're awful, you're terrible, you're demonic. I mean, it was like exceptional yesterday. I was like, I haven't even said anything. We dropped a trailer. Why are we not allowed to know anything about Erika's life? Who got harmed learning that Erika went to a Tesseract school? Who was harmed in the making by learning these facts? It's just true. I didn't accuse her of killing Charlie Kirk. I'm telling you who this person is because she's at the helm of this company. It might be relevant to know whether or not she's telling us truth about her background at all. And thus far, and as we get further into the story, you will see that she's not, or she's misremembering. I don't know. I'm not going to assign any maliciousness into her very many mistakes about her background. Stars333 writes, I missed you, girl. It's been a long week without you. Got my Standis cup full and ready for this banger of a series. Go Max. Thank you so much. Blue Appetite writes, we all want a friend like Candace. When ish hits the fan, Charlie deserves the truth to be found out. And we all know you're doing everything in your power to get there. Go Max, Candace. The thing about the Zion.
You know what I think? Because I do know that some of those super chats came from the beginning of the program. I think that the majority of it is pre-recorded, and then she records this very end and includes some of the super chats from the beginning. So
I've heard other people say that they think she's doing that too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do definitely think it is pre-recorded, but she is including super chats from the current episode. So that's the only thing that makes sense to me. And folks, if it's still glitching, I apologize. I don't know what's going on. My internet's fine. I just checked that. So hopefully that will resolve itself. Clearly, YouTube is having some issues because not even I could post comments. I don't know what's going on there. So it clearly has to do something with Project Looking Glass. It's the only thing that I can attribute it to. Don't know what to say about that.
Gary, you must be a time traveler.
I'm a time traveler. It's the Tesseract.
Always are forecasting something. Why are you freaking out about an investigative series if your whole premise is she's just an innocent grieving widow? Don't you appreciate how stupid you look? You're basically saying,
if you're so factual, why are you freaking out about these preemptive attacks coming your way about your stupid, ridiculous expose?
she's not a grieving widow. Obviously she's not, because if you investigate her, you're going to find something. Like, are you guys just not smart? Like, you should be like, oh, interesting. Well, she's great. So what are you going to investigate? No, they're like, ah!
Like, who the hell are you to investigate anyone? Like, you have no authority over anything. Like, and not only that, you're not even smart enough to investigate anybody. The stuff that you put out is nothing. There is no evidence. It's slanderous, defamatory BS that you make up. You have no evidence of anything. We didn't get I was writing down all the evidence that she listed. There's my blank. There's my blank paper. I was waiting for the evidence to come. There's no evidence.
Well, and it's like she has the audacity to bring up, like, you know, oh, these investigative journalism things were done into, like, Hillary Clinton. Okay, Hillary Clinton was involved in Benghazi. She literally bleach bit in her server that she had in her bathroom, which why she had a server in her bathroom where what did she get rid of over, like, was it like 3,000 emails or something that she deleted or destroyed with bleach bit? I mean, that's what I'm saying is you're taking something that as like there's an actual story to be had there. We know for a fact that Hillary Clinton was involved in these things. And then, yes, then you have investigative journalists who have come in and now they're expanding on that with books or whatever the case may be. But with Erika Kirk, you don't even have the jumping off point that you have with these other individuals. That's what makes it completely different. But of course, she's going to omit that fact. But yeah. It's not even in the same ballpark.
No.
Pray for Erika. Someone's looking into her background. Pray. Oh, she will need your prayers. Her children need your prayers. They were doing that. Pray for her children. Why?
I mean, How disgusting do you have to be? This is what I'm talking about. You talk about psychopathy. This is a psychopath right here. This is a psychopath that has so little empathy and sympathy for her own kids, for Erika's kids, supposedly her best friend ever's kids, that she'll sit there and make fun of the fact that they need prayer because they lost their father.
Why?
And
'Cause she's at
what
the office all
Christian mocks praying for people? What Christian mocks the sharing of the gospel? Oh, wait, this one does, but, you know, we're not allowed to point that out either. But, you know, that's fine.
time? Like, what was that? What was that freak out panic? When have we ever done anything to the children at all? Ever?
What have you done to the children? You're saying that their mother killed their father. Like, I don't get the disconnect here.
Said anything? Of course, we want the children to be great. You should not be praying for the children because an investigative series is coming out about their mother who has chosen to be the CEO in her husband's stead. That's a decision that was made. Okay. So here we are. You want to be in the realm of politics. You want to be here. You want to be telling people who to vote for the future president of the United States in 2028. As you come out to Sparklers, okay, well then put on your big girl pants. You don't get to play the role of a grieving widow when people want to know who you are, especially when you're telling lies. How about that? Can we just go back to a little bit of common sense? No, they have money. They got crazy money. They got casino money, I guess. Let me stop. I should probably get all
The other thing, and I meant to fact check this or address this fact. Earlier, she said that TPUSA was $1 billion company. It's not $1 billion company. Not $1 billion company by a lot. I think it's something worth like 233 million. So it's not $1 billion company. Again, it's just the little things that she's constantly distorting and constantly lying about. Little lies lead to big lies, right? That's what she says.
Yeah, and never mind the fact that Erika and Charlie do not have like the ability to access that money and put it in their own pockets, because that's not anybody who knows how a nonprofit 501c3 like fundraising donor funded organization works. You cannot just access that money. So when they want to laugh about like, oh, she was talking about merch and how many hats they sold and all this stuff, that is not money that Erika Kirk is putting in her own pocket. Now, Candace Owens, when she's doing this whole thing, she is putting this money in her personal pocket. Like, that's the difference here. But I mean, none of them want to point that out, of course, but there's a huge difference in how this is all money-wise handled.
And it is a celebration to continue for Charlie's legacy is TPUSA. And it is a celebration that I don't care if it's at his funeral. I don't care if it's at AmFest. I don't care where it is. It's a celebration that people are still buying the merchandise, that are still donating and continuing on Charlie's legacy. That is why Erika Kirk was put in charge of TPUSA, to ensure that that takes place. And that is I'm happy. I hope they sold twice as many hats or shirts.
I hope so too.
And
it's almost like in a business meeting, you're going to talk to your employees about business, which is going to include stats and numbers. And that's the place where you should be talking about that. That is appropriate to be having that conversation in that setting. But the other thing is, they made such a big deal about her saying that it was the event of the century. I don't know if you guys know this, but it literally broke records. His memorial broke records, like historic records. You can literally go and find the news articles where it literally says Charlie Kirk's memorial breaks records for a private citizen memorial. Charlie Kirk memorial was viewed by over 22 million people, which broke historic records. Of course, they're going to omit that part of it because they just want to make Erika seem like she's some kind of a ghoul monster, whatever. But no, literally, when she's saying that it was a historical once in a century event, that's factual. That's just statistically true. Like, she's not saying that to like make herself like so big and to be prideful and arrogant. That's actually the truth. It broke records, you guys. Like, that's not a joke. That's the truth.
Well, Ella Slab makes a really good point here. So she is attacking her for being CEO, not because she actually believes Erika is guilty. It does seem like the direction of this shifted, and this is an attack on her for being chosen and being voted in by the board, by the way, to be CEO. This is
She didn't make
like,
that decision by herself.
yeah, and on top of that, but more importantly, Candace didn't even make that connection, and she's not even making that connection here. But that is the insinuation behind all of this. And there's nothing provided here other than supposedly her ancestors were bad people, and somehow they were involved with a school that in Hebrew or another language was Project Looking Glass and was originally Tesseract, and Tesseract was the device that I don't know somebody was looking for in the Marvel comics, books, and movies, and it doesn't even make sense anymore.
Where Crypto writes, "Go Sweden." Yes, I loved all of the Swedish flags in the chat. That was fun. KPKP writes, "My kids ran around the house screaming. We are listening to Candace. I just reflected at how happy I am to hear that on so many levels. Thank you, Candace, from my humble family to yours. We love you and your crew. Thank you so much. I love you guys too. And I love hearing that the kids are watching the show. I hope I always keep it family friendly. Look, I brought up a children's book today, Wrinkle in Time. I'm family friendly. There we go.
I would never let my children watch this. I'm sorry, but like as a mom, that just makes me so sick to my stomach that people are allowing their children to watch this. Oh my gosh, that's so gross. Ugh.
And again, 15, 20 years from now, that no matter what happens, and no matter what happens during the Tyler Robinson trial, and no matter how much evidence is presented, there's always going to be that. Well, you guys know what really happened. Erika Kirk killed Charlie Kirk. We all know that. We all know that. And that's what's going to continue. And it's because kids are sitting here watching this stuff and being indoctrinated by their insane psychopath mothers and fathers. And then they're not going to see the actual trial. They're never going to show them that. They're never going to show them the evidence. Or if they even hear about the evidence, they're going to say, no, that's all made up. It's all fed slop. No, what the real information that you need to listen to is this crazy woman that's here in front of us talking about Tesseracts and looking glasses and making Jewish connections where none exist.
Colleen Dolan says, "Tell me they were allegedly involved without telling me. Trump inviting Erika to the State of the Union. Everything is fake and gay." Well, that was offered to us as an excuse as to why she could not answer first we gave her 10, then we reduced it to 4 questions for today's episode. And they were not like exactly cumbersome questions. It was basic questions. Why, if you grow
like, who do you think? Like, why on earth would Erika Kirk answer any of your stupid, evil questions? Like I don't even get this anymore. Like, it doesn't even make sense. The audacity of this evil person. Like, oh my God, I just don't get it.
Single mom, did you pursue your Swedish citizenship?
That's
is your mother actually married to Larry? Is it a real marriage, or did she just use his last name? Like, just trying to be a little bit more precise, but we will just have to take her in terms of what she said. And we offered those other questions. Hopefully she will have them in time for tomorrow, those answers. Fergie writes, "In my 10 to 11 years of experience in this fight, those who tell you that you are spreading disinformation and then they tell you that you hate are the exact ones that you should be following and that are over the target. Those who tell you that you are spreading disinformation and then tell you that you should hate them are the exact ones to follow, and they're telling you that you're over the target." Brittany Watson writes, "Yes, our investigative journalist, crime-fighting superhero is back. Kudos to you, Candace. You have the whole world watching, praying for you and your team's safety. Christ is king." Yeah, crazy. I've never seen it in politics. I'm not being funny. I've never seen it in politics. As ugly as it's been, have I ever seen people posting infant children because they're upset over a trailer? That's crazy, okay? I can't stand Ben Shapiro, but I would never, ever, ever direct any person to post his kids, his family, to go after his team. Like, they're working for him.
Did anybody actually, did we confirm if that actually even happened?
We're going to blame them.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Lisa?
Did we confirm if that actually even happened? I know that people were exposing who her producer was and who her manager was, but I didn't see any photos of any children posted anywhere.
Yeah, I didn't see any of those either. I saw a producer or maybe 2 producers that they showed pictures of. Didn't see their children.
Yeah, I never saw any photos of children, so I don't even know if that's actually true. But I mean, people should not be posting children. Obviously, children should be left out of it. But again, like talking out of both sides of her mouth here, because she can include Erika and Charlie's children in this fictitious fight that she created, and it's totally fine to bring their children into it. It's fine when she does it, but again, when other people do it to you of course don't like it very much. So
I don't think any of her producers' kids were exposed, but she's going to bring that up again for hyperbolic reasons and make this more sensational and try to pretend that the other side is doing something that they're not. That's what's
tired of the double standard. She's allowed to do whatever she wants, and then whenever she gets it back tenfold, she gets all pissy about it. And I'm like, it's nothing that you haven't already done, if not worse, to other people. But
yeah, if she didn't have double standards, she wouldn't have any standards at all. That's the fact.
It's so beyond anything I've ever seen, and
like CJ,
fine. Like I'm happy because it's just that's gonna be gas in the tank. I promise you that. We'll go all year. We'll just be like, this is a never-ending series. This is a song that never ends. It just goes on and on, my friend. Where my 90s kids at? Where my 90s kids at? That's us. We know what that is. We know what that's about. If you don't know what that's about, I'm sorry you weren't a 90s kid. You're on the outside of that one. Anyway, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Oh, dear God. All right. Let me turn this nonsense off. All right. So, Lisa, what's your final thoughts on all that?
Garbage. Absolute, total hot garbage. That was... I don't even know. I mean, I knew it was going to be bad, but I did not think that it was going to be that bad. That was even worse. I thought she was at least going to like pull out some kind of stops to like, granted, I mean, this is like the first episode, so who knows? Like, people are claiming that she's supposedly going to be doing some kind of a sit down interview with Jillian. Apparently she like agreed to come on and talk to her, so I'm sure she's going to throw that in there somewhere at some point. But yeah, no, this was a lot worse than what I even thought it was going to be.
L Slab said, I bet Candace makes up all these emails she reads from her fans. It's always the same message, ending with Crisis King. Here's what I can tell you. Some of those, I actually was looking at the live stream before it started, and I was looking at the comments. And I can tell you for certain some of those super chats, and that's what those are. Those are super chats. Some of them might be emails. I think she has read emails in the past, but those were super chats, and I saw those super chats. Now, that doesn't mean that those aren't generated by her or her producers or whatever else. That being said, those super chats were present prior to the show. I still think that her show is pre-taped. I think there's a lot of evidence of that. And then it wouldn't surprise me if at the end they attach another recorded portion of that to include super chats from the beginning of the show. So not that hard to do. She's in the same outfit. She taped it that day, produced it, put it out, and then, sits down and reads those like nothing ever ended. So I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if it's live or not. At the end of the day, it's not relevant. What's relevant is how stupid the information is that she put out. And there was zero evidence. And it just left me confused more than anything.
Like I said, leave it to Candace to actually take you further in the opposite direction. So now you have even more ground that you have to make up to like link all these things together. Like, it's crazy. This is just crazy train. Like, oh man.
And the problem is it's a lot of information that most people like, I'm not going to take the time to go prove or disprove all that information. So there is no information assurance, and we don't even know if any of that was true. If any of that is actually linked the way that she says to Erika. Could be. I don't know. Even if it is, it's not relevant. It's not relevant to anything that we're talking about. It has no relevance in whether or not she's CEO. It has no relevance whether or not she killed or did not kill. And there's no evidence that she did have anything to do with the murder of Charlie Kirk. But it doesn't matter. It's just another hour of content for her. Doesn't have to make sense. She doesn't have to provide any receipts, which she didn't. And
yeah, apparently Erika's like great grandfather was some kind of a casino hustling Ocean's 11 bank robber. And apparently that's Erika's fault somehow, or somehow she's apparently responsible for this.
But
Again,
in reality, she's actually Jewish, and her real grandfather or father or somebody? Is this other I don't even know what you said.
I'm going to be really curious to see how she tries to link all this together, because I feel like we're even further away from the goalpost than where we started, which leave it to Candace Owens to actually make you even more confused than you were to begin. But like, this is part of her thing. She throws out so much, right? And so quickly, and it gets people all confused, and they forget the things that she's already said. So like, again, that's intentional. That's a tactic, so that she doesn't want people to be able to keep up with what she's saying. So,
well, Ashley Taylor, to answer your question, they were using the Tesseract and the Looking Glass and Sumerian technology to look forward as to who, and while what they were doing was they started this gambling operation and this illegal lottery system so that they would, 50, 60, 70 years later have the money and the funds to be able to fund this grand conspiracy and assassination plot. That's what's really going on here. It's like 12-dimensional chess, and none of us get it, but Candace does.
I am gonna need someone to clip the far thing.
Oh, it's already done.
Totally gonna need somebody
I've
to
already
make
seen them on X.
We need the Lord Farquaad meme with Candace's face on Lord Farquaad with the far clip. I totally need that. That's the best thing to come out of all this garbage.
It is already happening. I've seen already clips of it. I just retweeted this right here. Let me show you this. This is pretty funny.
She's gonna be so mad about that.
So this is just a small taste of what's already going around there. She solves it with 2 words. Oh my God. Mothers, brothers, fathers, sisters, uncles means she's BB's daughter. Far, far more far.
Oh my Lanta. Oh,
it is some magical stuff. And I've already seen some video clips where I didn't listen to them, but I saw them. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of more. I mean, that was she gave us lots of ammunition on that one.
Yeah, she did. Well, and hey, whoever ends up making that, remember, you're getting your $7,000, so you're getting paid to make fun of Candace.
I got a raise. Just so we're clear, I got a raise. Every tweet I do now is $14,000, and every response to a moron is $20,000. And please continue to troll my feed. I love making the $20,000 for every response, for a response that I would do for free. So thank you, BB.
I love how she can make all the money in the world, and like they don't even bat an eye at that. But then the rest of us, it's, oh, they're making money. They're Turning Point plants. They're, all of the things. And I'm just sitting there being like, excuse me? Like, the only person making money here is Candace Owens.
Yeah. She's the only one making money. Well, she's not the only one. There's a lot of her downstreamers that are getting, hundreds of thousands of views.
Yeah.
I can tell you who's not making money is us. Like this is not a popular thing. Like, if we wanted to make money, we'd be on the Candace Owens train, just spouting this nonsense. And the only thing that it would cost us is our dignity, our credibility.
My soul, which, I'm not willing to give that up. But 100%. At the end of the day, again, it's the double standard of they're allowed to organize and they're allowed to be strategic in how they attack this whole thing. But if the other side is strategic or organized at all, it's a smear campaign against Candace Owens. And I'm just like, okay, how about you just take a dose of your own medicine for once,
I can't pay you goy people, all right? Can't pay you folks. Oh man, so much. All right. Any final words, Lisa? Lisa, first of all, thanks for jumping in. I know I sent you a DM on short notice, and I appreciate you jumping in. I always enjoy your commentary. And
I'm just fun. Like I said, it's a catch-22 because I don't want to give her views. I don't want to give her any more money in her pocket, but it's hard because you have to know what she's saying so that you can combat all of the insanity that's now going to ensue online for the next however many hours that we're going to have to battle all of this. So
I was dreading this all day long. There's so many other things that I would rather. It is so painful to sit through all this. And again,
Oh, I
you
know.
all watching it, making it so much, watching with me, make this so much more tolerable. That being said, it was
Yeah, how many more
by
episodes
far
of this do we
worse.
have?
It was by far worse than anything I expected. This was the dumbest thing I've ever listened to.
It's so bad. We've got what? Did she say 3 episodes of this?
I don't even know. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is a lot more fun to watch it with you guys than sitting here seething by myself, because there were times that I like wanted to pull my hair out. So at least you guys get to watch me like seethe.
Exactly. Yeah, hey folks, make sure you guys tune in tonight at 8 p.m. Here, well, we got 45 minutes. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to go grab something to eat, use the bathroom, and we are going to come back and let's watch this with Timothy Alberino. It's going to be an interesting discussion, much more lighthearted than what we just put ourselves through, and probably make a lot more sense, to be honest with you.
Probably.
We're going to listen to Tim's, I guess, interpretation of how he's going to reconcile the UFOs, the Book of Enoch, aliens, giants, all those things with the Bible itself. Listen, doesn't mean you have to believe it. You can disagree with it. And we're going to give you the opportunity to ask questions and comment, and we will make sure that we include you in those conversations. I have questions for him myself, but it'll be a fun, interesting, educational discussion. And make sure you join us here in about 45 minutes. Lisa, thank you again so much for tuning in. Again, you're definitely someone that I want to have on a regular basis to talk about not only just this, but many other things. That's something we're going to do. We're going to start having multiple guest hosts. It's just so much more fun, so much more enjoyable. And we got so many great content creators out there that are brilliant, that can add to the discussion and make it a lot more entertaining and educational as well. So thank you again for tuning in. Everyone out there, thank you for your support. I know many of you said you were trying to do super chats and they wouldn't go through. Hopefully we'll have better luck, not just with the super chats, but even comments. I couldn't comment. Let me see if I can comment now. I'm just curious to see if I comment.
And just a shout out, I will be on Jay Witt's podcast on Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. So if you guys want to watch over there, I will be over there. But yeah.
Now that it's over, I can comment. So that's usually how that
does
works.
you a whole lot of good now. Yeah.
All right, folks. We'll see you back here at 8. Thank you again, Lisa. And until the next 45 minutes, stay armed, stay ready. We'll talk to you soon.